and welcome back to Beyond English as we take a final look at the poem My Last Duchess by Robert Browning from AQA's Power and Conflict cluster of poetry. For our final instalment of this poem, we will be taking a dive into the language and ideas conveyed by Browning throughout. But before we do that, if you are new here today, first of all, welcome. But I do highly recommend watching our 3 previous videos which take a look at the title and context, form and structure, and the themes from within the poem. If you've already watched those 3 videos, welcome back, let's get going. As mentioned previously, the psychological portrait of the narcissistic and egotistic Duke of Ferrara is a dramatic monologue. It's written in first-person narrative voice, which we have already mentioned before. Intended to convince his mystery visitor of his charm, intelligence, and masculine authority, he is instead the antithesis of this, with Browning portraying him as a weak, jealous, and quite frankly possessive, arrogant man, filled with vitriolic hate for the wife he just could not control. There are huge red flags that would not have gone unnoticed by this visitor of his. The opening of the poem creates the image of the Duke craftily adopting the persona of a charming husband, proudly displaying the portrait of his beloved wife. Yet, the use of the possessive pronoun my when referring to My Last Duchess, and repeated throughout the poem, is the first subtle indicator of the Duke's desire for possessiveness and ownership over her. As a self-obsessed narcissist, it is clear that when he repeatedly refers to his wife as something that he owns, he is objectifying her and claiming ownership over her. The following remark of looking as though she were alive, of course, raises many questions. As the verb alive might in fact be a double entendre, we might begin to ask ourselves whether the Duke is implying that she is dead and no longer with us, but looking as though she were alive, or is he simply commenting on the skill of the artist in creating such lifelike work? However it is interpreted, the caesura gives a sense of sinister finality to his comment. As he continues to look at the portrait with his visitor, he name drops the artist Fra Pandolf, exhibiting his vanity as he tries to show off a knowledge and appreciation for fine art. As he describes the depth, passion, and earnest glance of the Duchess, captured by the artist, we sense a growing jealousy and can only assume the attention to detail made the Duchess, the artist's subject, blush with embarrassment, or as the Duke perceives it, coy flirtatiousness. The irony in this is in the artist's title of Fra, the title given to an Italian monk or friar who most certainly would be celibate. Browning is clearly emphasising the farcicality of the Duke's jealousy. The parenthetical remark, since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you but I, emphasises the level of farce as the Duke considers his ability to draw a curtain and control who sees the portrait, a continuation of the power and possessiveness he sought to exert. The curtain is clearly a metaphor for the power and control he tried to exert over his wife when she was alive. Now he can keep her smiles just for himself. As he tells of the things that impressed upon her, from the sunset to the cherries to the white mule, it might become evident to the reader that she was in fact quiet and humble, seeking simple pleasures in life. But of course the Duke perceived her behaviour as weak and undeserving of his grandeur and status. In juxtaposition with his appreciation for fine art, it is clear that he felt she was beneath him, not worthy of his greatness and status at all. And while she was polite and thanked other men, he grew suspicious of how she did it, a hint to his belief that she may have been unfaithful. And to rub salt in the wound, he felt she was never grateful, proud or appreciative of this gift of his 900-year-old family name he bestowed upon her. How dare she not rank this gift higher than the gifts from other men? As he continues to explain his reasons for not stooping to her levels, we become aware of his duplicity. He claims that he does not have skill in speech to be able to confront his wife, yet ironically he is over halfway through a monologue displaying his clear capabilities of articulating himself. This is a man whom we cannot trust. His accounts of events are not to be taken at face value. The monologue takes a more sinister turn in his declaration that he chooses never to stoop, a clear, harsh warning that he doesn't lower himself or his standards for anyone. Any concern that the reader or visitor might feel for the Duke's late wife is only exacerbated by his focus on her smile, something that was, to his spitting anger, not reserved only for him. The ambiguous nature of his claim that all smiles stop together neither confirms nor disproves our suspicions that his wife is dead, murdered at his command. As his monologue comes to a close, we are reminded of his desire to control and manipulate others, particularly those he perceives to be below him. The undertone of his command to his visitor to rise, disguised in the seemingly request, "Wilt you please rise?" is reminiscent of his earlier order for them to please sit, once again hidden behind this facade of politeness. We are reminded here that the visitor has remained sitting for the duration of the Duke's monologue, with the Duke in the position of power and authority, requiring his guest to look up at him throughout the whole thing. It is only in the last lines of the poem that the identity of his guest becomes clear. An emissary there to agree a dowry on a daughter of a count, a woman the Duke intends to marry next. The Duke is expecting a hefty dowry in exchange for marrying the Count's daughter, yet he claims that the money doesn't matter to him at all. It is the woman he wants. His fair daughter's self is my object. This double entendre suggests that the daughter was his only object and aim, yet it could also be perceived as his intention to possess and objectify his next wife, just like he did with his last. On seeing the emissary out of the room to rejoin the other guests, the Duke stops to point out a statue of Neptune, the Roman god of the sea, taming a seahorse. As well as egoistically showing off his taste for fine art again, we are given another clear indicator of his narcissism as he metaphorically draws parallels between himself and this Roman deity. Clearly the Duke feels an affinity with Neptune, taming a rare and wild creature, and how he feels he must control and domineer his wife, a wild, untamable female. In his claim that the statue was cast especially for him, it is concrete evidence that the Duke perceives himself as godlike and worthy of utmost worship and respect. I hope you have found the content in this video useful. Keep up the hard work as you continue to revise, and see you next time as we continue to study more poems from AQA's Power and Conflict cluster of poetry. Until next time, bye for now.